We have Lori Vallow news. We have Letitia Stauch news. How could that massacre in Texas have happened? In the Brian Kohberger case, I think one question needs to be asked. Why do the Idaho courts hate the First Amendment? Barry Morphew, he's looking for justice. 3 Colorado teens charged with murder. And then finally, our dumb criminal of the day. Let's talk about it. Good day, everyone. My name is Scott Reich, and this is Crime Talk. Thanks for watching. You know the drill. Subscribe if you haven't, like if you do, leave me a comment, and also hit that little bell so you receive notifications of when we go live or put up new content. And remember, you can always listen to us anytime on any of your favorite podcasting apps. And let's support the people that support Crime Talk. Go to crimetalksearch.com, sign up for that background subscription service today. When you have that background subscription service, you can do a background search on anyone in the United States. And listen, if people are coming into your life, if someone is coming into, I don't know, your children's life, maybe you want to check out the parents of those kids. Are they a good influence? You got to ask yourself, check it out. You don't want it to be too late. Information is power, and you need to be able to make sure everyone is making good decisions. And like we've said, it's dating malpractice if you don't do a background search on someone that's getting to know you, okay? A Google search isn't good enough. Go to crimetalksearch.com. All right, let's go ahead and open the record for May 4th, 2023. All right, Lori Vallow. Is this stuff getting weirder and weirder? The prosecution continues to call witnesses, basically saying that Lori Vallow had no good explanation as to where the children went and their behavior right before and after Tammy Daybell was deceased. Now, there was lots of evidence presented in regards to the firearms that Alex Cox had, and that he was trying to get a good shot at Tammy Daybell. But ultimately, she died of asphyxia. So the question is, ultimately, who did it? They're charged with murder, not attempted murder. So let's get to it. Anyway, we also heard last couple of days from lots of witnesses that, like I said, that simply said that, well, Lori would try to kill me and that there would be sent to a dark place if anybody crossed her. And let me tell you, this is so weird. It's hard to explain sometimes because it just doesn't sound real. So what you need to do is literally go to the recordings and listen to it. Yes, they're in court for 8 hours a day, but generally it's only about 4 to 5 hours of testimony. You can put it on double speed, but I'm telling you, this is worth listening to. And like I said, it's hard to believe that anyone believed these people and that these people believed what they believed in. It just doesn't make sense. But what we do know is when Lori Vallow was talking to friends of Chad Daybell, she was introducing herself as, basically her daughter had passed away recently, but didn't go into details. And of course, these people thought, well, it must have been a terrible, cancer or something. Yeah, no, wasn't the case at all. So go check it out. I'm sorry, I just can't do it justice, the bizarreness that is coming up. Next on the docket, Letitia Stauch. All right, what can you say? It was a not guilty by reason of insanity, which is basically an admission that Letitia Stauch killed Gannon. That is a foregone conclusion. No brainer. The defense didn't put up much of a fight because their defense was, we are going not guilty by reason of insanity. Dr. Lewis appeared and testified and said that Letitia Stauch appears to have dissociative identity disorder. And like I said, defense called the good doctor to see if she could determine her mental state. And as part of that evaluation, Dr. Lewis said that she interviewed Stauch for 14 hours, consulted with social workers and investigators, and poured through countless documents to come to her conclusion. Now, on the stand, the defense established that Lewis has had some credibility as an expert, not very tough to do under the rules. And she obviously claimed that she seemed to shift into different personas as they would communicate. And upon reflection, Lewis does not believe that Stauch actually knows what really happened to Gannon. Now, Lewis explained that when she would talk to Stauch, sometimes Stauch would identify as Maria. Now, the cross-examination was lengthy, rigorous, and I think devastating to the defense. I think that it is over. I think what we need to focus on now with the Letitia Stauch case is, can we do some sort of chart as to how long it's going to take? Alex Murdaugh took about 3 hours. I would give that about 3 hours in this case, not counting overnight recesses. It was pretty overwhelming evidence. I don't think the doctor convinced anyone. Certainly didn't convince me. Next, the Texas Massacre. How could this have happened? Well, Francisco Oropeza, the man accused of fatally shooting 5 people, including a 9-year-old child, at his neighbor's home in Cleveland, Texas, was formally charged with 5 counts of murder during his first court appearance yesterday, Wednesday. Now, Oropeza is a Mexican national, and he evaded capture until Tuesday. Law enforcement found him hiding in a home's closet near the massacre site. And after being asked to stop firing his rifle outside near a neighbor's home to avoid waking a child, Oropeza did what everyone would do. He refused to do, and then he allegedly then went and shot and killed 5 people inside the home. Completely rational behavior, is it not? No, of course not. Why was he out firing the weapon in the middle of the day? Why did he go do that? I don't know if we'll ever find out. Anyway, like I said, he's charged with 5 counts of murder, and during the court appearance, his bond was set at $1.5 million for each charged, which totaled $7.5 million. So at least he'll be remaining in custody before he's transferred to the Department of Corrections after a fair trial, and we will go from there. Now, Divamara Lamar Nava, the woman who lived with and shared a child with the accused, was booked into the county jail as well, and she's facing charges of hindering apprehension or prosecution of a known felon. That's a Class 3 felony down there in Texas. Now, the court records show that she was arrested at the same location in Montgomery County where her partner, Francisco Oropeza, was arrested Tuesday night. Now, at least 4 times since 2009, Oropeza had entered the United States unlawfully, been captured, deported, and, well, here he is. He was first removed back in 2009 when he was deported again in September of 2009, again in January of 2012, and July of 2016 as well. Now, you may ask yourself, how could this have happened? Because if you're not a United States citizen or lawful permanent resident, that's right, it's actually unlawful for you to possess a firearm. So I wonder how Mr. Oropeza got the firearm. Next, I wonder how he could even possibly be in the United States when there's so many people that want to get here legally, wait in line, do the process appropriately, and then apparently Mr. Oropeza gets deported and just walks right across the border. Can you imagine such a thing? I just find it hard to believe. And then, of course, had Mr. Oropeza escaped to Mexico and they wanted to bring him back, well, guess what? He wouldn't have been able to be brought back because there'd probably be the death penalty, and it just complicates everything. Mexico won't send somebody back on an extradition if there is the death penalty. So fortunately, they got Mr. Oropeza in the United States, and hopefully they will probably charge him with the death penalty. But what we do know, it's not exactly clear how long Mr. Oropeza has been in the United States before last week's attack. Next, the Bryan Kohberger case. Why does the state of Idaho hate the First Amendment? I want to know this. And apparently so do 30 news organizations, and they launched an effort this week to get a gag order lifted in the criminal case of Bryan Kohberger, obviously the man is accused of stabbing 4 University of Idaho students. A group of 30 news organizations has asked the Idaho Supreme Court earlier this year to reject the gag order issued in the criminal case against Bryan Kohberger, arguing that it violates the First Amendment and the right to free speech because the order prohibits attorneys, prosecutors, law enforcement agencies, and others involved in the case from talking to the news media unless they are quoting directly from a court document. Well, last week, the Idaho Supreme Court unanimously denied the request, saying the news group should first ask the lower court to have the order lifted. Now, you see where this is going, ladies and gentlemen? Just like in the Lori Vallow case, people tried to ask for the gag order and to unseal court records, and they said, well, there's really no remedy for that. So this news organization went to the Supreme Court, and they said, well, I guess you probably got to go to the magistrate who issued the gag order and go from there, and then you can appeal. So the Supreme Court justices there in Idaho didn't weigh in on whether the gag order violates the First Amendment rights. And it said the court has long respected the media's role in our constitutional republic and honored the promise in both the Idaho Constitution and the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. And Justice Gregory Mueller wrote in the decision, going on to quote a ruling from a federal case that said responsible press coverage guards against the miscarriage of justice by subjecting the court system and those who are part of it to public scrutiny. Oh my gosh. So maybe the Supreme Court doesn't hate the First Amendment. Maybe it's just the lower court judges. Anyway, we'll have to see. And Justice Mueller continued to write that the balancing act between the First Amendment protections afforded to the press and the Sixth Amendment fair trial rights promised to defendants has become increasingly difficult with the advent of the internet and social media. And now the media coalition has challenged the gag order at the lower court. This all came about because in January, the Latah County Magistrate Judge Megan Marshall issued this sweeping gag order that has barred attorneys, law enforcement, and anyone from literally talking about the case. Now, Kohberger's attorneys contend that the gag order essentially requires the attorneys involved in the case to act ethically to ensure that Mr. Kohberger gets a fair trial. We all want him to get a fair trial, but we also want access to the court files. And Wendy Olson, the attorney representing the News Coalition, stated that the ruling provided a clear roadmap for the organizations to challenge the gag order at the lower court level. Now, you may remember the Gonsalves family has also asked the lower court judge to lift the gag order, saying that their attorneys should be allowed to speak about the family's opinion on the case on their behalf. And a hearing for the Gonsalves has been set for May 25th. Barry Morphew, remember him? That's right. The husband of Suzanne Morphew has filed a civil rights lawsuit seeking $15 million, claiming damages that he was wrongfully charged with his missing wife and being accused of murder. As you may recall, Mr. Morphew was charged in May of 2021 with the murder of his wife, Suzanne Morphew, who vanished while out on a bike ride in Salida, Colorado on Mother's Day of 2020. Her body has never been found. Now, last year, prosecutors dropped all charges against Mr. Morphew after a judge sanctioned the district attorney's office for discovery violations. That's for not turning over evidence, particularly exculpatory evidence. It's pretty egregious. And the DA dismissed and said, oh, we're going to seek justice. Yeah, right. Anyway, the 185-page complaint claims that the authorities conspired to wrongfully arrest Mr. Morphew, fabricated evidence, concealed exculpatory evidence, and conducted a reckless investigation, all leading to Mr. Morphew being wrongfully prosecuted. As a result of the defendant's conduct, Barry was charged, arrested, and prosecuted, and his property seized for a crime he did not commit, the lawsuit alleges. And as a result of the defendant's conduct, Barry Morphew spent 5 months in jail, approximately 6 more months wearing a GPS ankle monitor with severe restrictions on his movement, and almost a year defending against the criminal charges. To this date, Barry Morphew's property remains in the possession of the sheriff's department. And the lawsuit claims that Morphew's name and reputation has been irreparably tarnished in Colorado and around the country. Those named in the lawsuit include the Chaffee County Sheriff's Office, the Board of County Commissioners, the 11th Judicial District Attorney, Linda Stanley, her staff, the Colorado Bureau of Investigation, and FBI agents. Now, last month, Morphew's attorney, Iris Itan, who I'm telling you, she is tough, filed a complaint against Linda Stanley and her office accusing the prosecutors of misconduct and unethical behavior during the case, alleging that Barry suffered the indignity of being wrongfully arrested, jailed, and prosecuted for a crime that he did not commit. I-10 said in a statement as well, and she also said, we will not rest until those responsible for this miscarriage of justice are held accountable. The complaint further alleges that the 6 prosecutors pursued a political agenda of locking up Mr. Morphew in response to a media frenzy that prosecutors themselves helped create after Suzanne Morphew's disappearance. Morphew's lawyers have also asked for the prosecution to face punishment up to and including disbarment in her complaint. We always gave Barry Morphew the presumption of innocence, and when you read the 180-page probable cause statement, maybe it was 132, I don't recall, but you're thinking, is this all they've got? I'm surprised the judge granted the arrest warrant, and even the court questioned that afterwards, but you got to give the government some deference there early on. Clearly, the case was done. Remember Remember the DA who said they knew exactly where Suzanne Morphew's remains would be found and they were going to get them when the summer came? I guess they didn't know. So I guess maybe that wasn't exactly true when they said they knew exactly where her remains were. Next, 3 teens. That's right. The rock-throwing teens appeared in court yesterday, accused of killing a 20-year-old woman by hurling a rock through her windshield. So Nicholas Mitch Carroll Chick, Joseph Koenig, and Zachary Kwak, Kwak, all 18 faced charges in Jefferson County, Colorado, over the April 19th murder of Alexa Bartell. She was only 20. The trio have all been charged with crimes including first-degree murder, extreme indifference, and now face additional counts of assault and attempted assault. Now, according to the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office, Alexa Bartell was talking on the phone with a friend while driving in her yellow Chevy Spark at about 10:45 on April 19th in Arvada, which is a suburb just west of Denver, when she was hit by a rock. After the call went silent, the friend tracked Bartell's location with a phone app, drove to her, and found the woman deceased in the car, which had crashed into a field. Get this, the boys returned later to take a photo of the car as a memento. How do they know that? Well, Mr. Carroll Chick, C-H-I-K, told investigators when they questioned him. They also allegedly attacked 6 other cars in Arvada on April 19th, and Carroll Chick told investigators that Koenig slowed down so Kwak could get a photo of Bartell's car after it crashed into the field, according to these affidavit for arrest warrant. He said all 3 got excited every time they hit a car with landscaping rocks taken from a Walmart parking lot, but acknowledged he felt a hint of guilt passing by her car. Now, Kwak also said that he took photos because he thought that Carroll Chick and Koenig would want to have a memento of what had happened. He also reportedly told the others, "We have to go back and see that." Now, Mr. Carroll Chick and Kwak, Kwak, offered different accounts about who threw the fatal rock. Koenig didn't speak to investigators after he was arrested, and a friend of the trio told police he watched them several hours earlier as they loaded the truck with landscaping rocks from the Walmart parking lot. The friend claimed that the 3 boys picked up as many as they could possibly carry, and he said he knew something bad was going to happen, so he asked Koenig, Carroll, and Chick and Kwak to take him home. Smart move. So 2 were talking about them being blood brothers now and that they could never speak of the incident, according to Mr. Kwak's interview. The 3 met up the following day to get their story straight, and that they had thrown rocks at vehicles on about 10 occasions since February. 6 other cars were damaged, and 2 more drivers were actually injured. Dumb. And extreme indifference, and somebody died. These young boys, young men, they're 18, they're adults. Yep, probably going to adult prison, unless the district attorney says, well, they're young, their mind's probably not developed, got to send them off to the youth offender system, where they'd only had to go be there until they're 25. I'm not sure that's appropriate. Let me know what you think.
As a pet owner, you want to give your furry friend the very best. That's why Baked in Colorado's CBD-infused dog treats are the perfect choice. These delicious treats not only taste great, but they also provide a wide range of health benefits for your pet. CBD has been shown to have many positive effects on dogs, including reducing anxiety, alleviating pain and inflammation, and improving overall wellness. Baked in Colorado's treats are infused with premium, full-spectrum CBD oil, meaning your pet will benefit from the whole plant extract. Not only that, but Baked in Colorado's treats are made with all-natural human-grade ingredients, so you can feel good about what you're giving your pet. They're also free from wheat, corn, and soy, making them a great option for dogs with food sensitivities. Baked in Colorado CBD-infused dog treats are the perfect way to support your pet's health and well-being. With various flavors, including peanut butter, pumpkin, and bacon, your dog will love them too. So why wait? Head to www.bakedincolorado.com today and order your dog a bag of these delicious and nutritious treats. Your pet will thank you for it.
And then finally, our dumb criminal of the day. Well, the missing person case of Chloe Stein from Pennsylvania was an apparent hoax after she was found at someone's house that she knew. Now, police were alerted around lunchtime on Tuesday after Stein's boyfriend and 2 friends found her car abandoned on a road under a bridge about a mile from a Sonic restaurant where she worked. Now, Stein's boyfriend received a message from her around 11 p.m. on Monday indicating that she was being pulled over which also turned out not to be true. Miss Stein then ditched her car on Monday night and walked at least 3 miles to the house of someone that she knew. She stayed in the garage of the home, which was not used to store cars, until Tuesday night, according to the police. After police received a tip that she was there, they took her into custody and charged her with false alarm to Agency of Public Safety, false reports, obstruction of administration of law and other governmental functions, and disorderly conduct. The police said that they spent tens of thousands of dollars in resources on the effort. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is dumb. Dumb, Chloe. Dumb. The resources for what? The resources spent by the police for what? So you can get some attention? Are you kidding me? That's dumb. Chloe Stein, you are a dumb criminal of the day. Congratulations, you made it. All right, thanks for watching today, everybody. We missed yesterday. I apologize. I had to go to court, and then I got to get a root canal. Who can really plan for one of those? You just can't. But have a wonderful day. We'll see you next time on Crime Talk.